So you may have had an issue where you try to index your website using the Google Search Console, and when you try to submit your sitemap, you get an error saying your sitemap could not be read. Now, I found out that this is an issue that a lot of people are having, and I even ran into the same issue myself. Now, after doing some research, I found out that the issue seems to come from using a default domain. Now, typically when you set up your website using a hosting provider, so stuff like Cloudflare, Vercel, or Netlify, they typically give you a default subdomain. Now, it seems like this subdomain is the issue because for some reason, these hosting providers, they don't allow you to index your sitemap if you're using their default domain. So that right there is why you're getting the error. So even though your sitemap is valid, you can open it and everything is fine. If you're trying to submit your sitemap using a default domain that you got from one of these hosting providers, like Cloudflare, Vercel, or so on, then that right there is the issue. And the default domains that I'm talking about is like, for Cloudflare you have like the .page.dev, for Vercel you have like vercel.app, and so on. So if you're using like those default domain, then that right there is the issue. Now, unfortunately, the only fix that I found for this problem is by purchasing your own custom domain. So once you do this and you try to submit the sitemap, then you'll be able to do it successfully. And I even bought my own domain recently, right here, and I was able to submit my sitemap successfully with no issues. Everything went through instantly. So yeah, that's like the only solution that I found so far. And yeah, this one right here is using the default domain, and it's been a few weeks now and it's still showing this error. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find any other solution or any other like free solution. But the good thing is that Google does allow you to index multiple pages. So if your website has like multiple pages, you can index each URL for each pages one by one. Now, the one downside to this is that so far it seems like Google limits the amount of index requests that you can send per day to just one. Now, I don't know if this limit is for everyone or if it's by account basis, but on my account, whenever I try to submit more than one index request per day, I get a rate limit error and I have to wait like 24 hours before I can submit another URL. So if your website has a ton of pages, then it's going to take you a while to do it because you can only submit one URL per day. So it's going to take you a while to do all of that. But yeah, if you're using the default domain, like that's the only other option. Like you have to submit each URL one by one and Google will index them. So on the bright side, you can index each page, but on the downside, it's going to take a while to do all of them if you have a lot of pages.